Hello friends, it's Kirsten. Welcome back to my channel. So I wanted to make a video today where I talk about several things. I'm not going to put a number on it, but just some things that professional ballet dancers do that students typically do not. Before I made the transition from pre-professional to professional, I really wanted to know if someone could tell me, who's been in both worlds, what the main differences are between students and professionals so that I can act and look more like a professional. So to all of you who are looking for the same thing, here's this video. I hope you enjoy. Okay, the first thing that professional dancers do that students do not is, well, it's a quality. It's that they are typically not shy. I noticed that a lot of students tend to be afraid to be seen or to communicate or to just be confident there in the room. You know, they kind of step back or have body language like this rather than just being proud who they are, or just confident in what they're doing. And so one really important thing that professionals do is that they don't hold back in communication. If there's an issue that needs to be communicated, they ask questions. They don't just stand back and try to be really silent. And especially one of the most important aspects of this point is that they don't have a fear of being seen. This is likely what got them into the professional world in the first place. Directors really don't have time for people who are self-conscious and who are afraid of their mistakes being seen or something like that. Directors just want somebody who's going to confidently step up and maybe try out a new step that the director is choreographing, or just run something for the first time and maybe it's not perfect, but they don't waste time looking and being apologetic about their work. You have to be confident because, well, this was also going to be my next point. Professionals are confident. This is so crucial. If you don't believe in what you're doing, how's anybody going to believe in what you're doing? Not just the directors and the staff, but the audience. If you are not confident in your performance, say you're on stage, the audience feels that. Like, I think most of us who are ballet enthusiasts have seen Alice is trying to trap a fly against my window blind, or shade. So bear with me as my lighting changes and there are some sound effects. But anyway, so during a performance, if you're a ballet enthusiast and you've seen a large variety of performances, or maybe you've just seen one that's not maybe at the highest level, you're likely to be familiar with the feeling of watching somebody who is clearly extremely nervous and not confident in what they're doing on stage. It makes you nervous and it's not a pleasurable experience. This isn't just about dance, like any presentation or performance or anything. You can tell when someone's not confident, and if you're confident, you know, or if you're around confident people, it puts you at ease. And directors just want to know that you at least don't suffer greatly from self-doubt, which is a major, it can be a huge destructive thing if you're trying to be a consistent performer. The next point is that they don't value tricks as they do transitions. So high kicks, big jumps, and a lot of pirouettes, they are, you know, it's nice. It's like a little icing on top of the cake. But if your transitions aren't good, you look like an amateur. Like, honestly, that is what separates professionals from students, is that it's not just your positions that look nice and certain movements and like certain points within combinations or rep or something like that. You have to have beautiful transitions, walks, rolls down from point, different presentational aspects like lovely port-de-bras. You have to have a good presence, good sense for artistry. But there's, like in transitions, there's something that's often referred to as a follow-through. So if you do a movement like a piqué arabesque, you don't just come down, or you don't just go to the next step. It's like that step you kind of transition out of it and it bleeds into the next step. So the look is seamless. Now there are certain points or certain things we do that we're asked to do something sharp or more staccato. That's a musical term, but in dance that could just be something with a lot of accent. You're sharp, you're not smooth, you're not lyrical in your movements, and that's kind of a different story. But even when your legs are doing something accented and sharp and energetic, your upper body can smooth over those transitions. What I'm trying to explain is that your body doesn't just go from one position to another without the in-betweens also looking beautiful or smooth. I think you guys understand what I'm saying, so I'll leave that there. But if you are a student working to be the best you can or to go to the professional level, know that your steps that we often blow off, like pas de bourrées, or even things like bourrées or walks or something like that, little things that teachers might not talk about that often, those matter so much. And if those aren't impeccable, I mean, maybe not perfect, but if you don't clearly show intention of making those steps also beautiful, then it's clear you're not quite at that professional level. My next point is that professionals know that consistency is far more important than one impressive moment. Sure, one impressive moment can get you noticed, and that's great, but you will quickly lose the eye of a director if the next day you're kind of a flop. I'm not saying you can't be, an imperfect human being, as we all are. You don't have to be perfect all the time, but if you show yourself to be unreliable and you're only kept in the room for one season because you had like a couple great moments, that's not going to give you a good career in dance. You need to show that you can deliver more or less one day after another. The quality or the important principle behind this is that a director needs to trust that you can get on stage and deliver every night, not fall on your face, not have one night where you're looking real good and then the next night they're worried that you're not going to give that same level of performance. You need to more or less stay at a very consistent level. I'm not saying you can't have good and bad days, but it can't look like this. Your performance graph has to look kind of like this, because most of all, directors don't just want someone who's a beautiful dancer. They want to have someone who they can trust and rely on, who is also intelligent, which leads me to my next point. Technique and talent are pretty much the baseline. When you get into the professional world, everybody's got that. But what a director wants that differs from a student is they need someone who is intelligent and artistic. An artistic person performs every day. They take class and they perform in rehearsal as if they're training for the show. They understand that training their artistry is just as important as training their bodies to do the steps well. And as far as intelligence goes, that is paramount. If you're going to have a career in dance, you have to be able to pick up choreography quickly. You need to be reliable and have that reputation with your director that they can ask you to pick up choreography quickly, or they can try some steps on you and you can do just what they said so they can see their work in action and tweak it from there. They need someone who can remember, someone who can identify problems before they arise in choreography, especially in core work, who can ask good questions, not waste time, not just wasting time with asking questions that are not relevant, but you waste time whenever you make mistakes, and you also let down your peers as well, because rehearsals are often, even if you're a principal dancer, if you are a part of a production, you're probably never going to be the only one on stage during the whole production, so you can consider it all to be a group effort. Another thing that I was certainly guilty of when I started last year in a professional company is, as a student, you're very tempted to think that you're doing well if you're doing what your instructors tell you to do, exactly how they said to do it, down to repertoire and things like that. You want to be the exact dancer that people want you to be. But the thing is that once you get into the professional world, directors often choose you because you have something to offer that they don't already have. So even if you're an apprentice, if you're in the corps de ballet, if you're always doing core work, it doesn't matter. You need to be able to work with a group, obviously, and not just be in the back doing your own thing. But you need to not be someone that they've just seen before. You don't need to follow your peers and be so worried about doing things exactly like the favorite dancer in the company is doing it. They made their way in their career to the top because they're unique and they're being themselves. So if you have something that you're particularly talented at, say you're a lyrical dancer with a lovely upper body, or you have impeccable footwork, make that be your thing and play it up. And more practically, if you're doing repertoire, say you're doing something, maybe choreography is being tested out on you, or you're doing something that's more like a demi-soloist or soloist role, which may not happen if you're going straight into a company, but this is an excellent lesson to take to heart for the future, is you don't need to do things artistically the exact same as the cast A girl or something like that. I've watched so many principal dancers, like cast A is going and the cast B people are running it behind them, and I'm just so impressed when the cast B person has the confidence to have their own accents in the musicality in a manner that is called for and is professional, and they're not just making things up, but they're not afraid to make the piece their own, and they're not always keeping their eyes on the cast A person thinking, oh, they had their arm like this and I had my arm kind of like this or something, or like their finger was like that and I wasn't, or they're okay with making something look good on them and not just being the exact carbon copy of the girl that they know the artistic director likes. Professionals also really understand the value of pacing themselves. They don't just give 120% all day, every day, and put, I'm not saying they don't put effort into everything, but they understand the art of efficiency throughout their day. They need to be able to perform just as well during the last hour of rehearsals of the day. They don't just blow that off and give the excuse that, oh, it's the end of the day and oh, I'm tired, so I'm not going to do as well. They understand that they somehow need to conserve their energy to where they are able to perform whenever they're asked to do it. That means a lot of different things for different people, but keeping the future in mind, even if it's the near future, the next couple hours, they understand how to plan ahead and do what's right for them so that they can, again, be consistent in their performance throughout the day. My last point is that, I know I said something similar before, but professionals don't just wait to be told something, and they don't just meet expectations. They seek to, or the best professionals, seek to understand what needs might arise before they come about. So in core work, a staff member or artistic director can instantly recognize an intelligent dancer who asks the right questions in corps de ballet work. Say a formation isn't working just right, or they ask about marks or something like that. They're not just going along like barely keeping up with all the information they're getting, but they're thinking ahead. They are seeing what they need to do to, like, say in corps de ballet rehearsals, like if you're leading a line, you understand what kind of a responsibility that is, and pacing yourself and spacing and making sure that the rest of your line can keep up with you. You really have all things considered in your brain. So you're not just thinking about yourself, but you are, again, planning ahead, being smart, and seeing what you need to do before someone asks you to do it. And you're also not waiting to be told something and just aiming to meet expectations, but you're trying to know, first off, what is expected of you and do that, but also be prepared to go above and beyond. Go over your choreography during your lunch break. Start learning, understudying things, even if you're not asked to understudy it. Be prepared to go in for another person who maybe doesn't have an understudy, even though you're asked to learn for someone else. That is the kind of stuff that gets people places in their career. So do keep that in mind. Anyway, this is always long videos. I'm trying to get better about it, but yeah, bear with me. I really hope you guys enjoyed this. Please check out my Patreon account if you are interested in supporting this channel financially, so I could keep doing what I'm doing here on YouTube, and follow me on Instagram if you'd like more fun little updates and pictures that I post. Subscribe, like, all that stuff, and keep coming back for more if you enjoyed this. So I'll see you guys next time. Bye!